tomorrow we'll see mainly sunny skies. It'll be breezy and warm with the high near 82. I'm meteorologist Kyle Butler for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a one-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at GoHogWild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln. Tailored Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you the best they can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan for your yard. Tailored Landscapes is on the brink of spring cleanups for all their existing customers, and they have limited spots available. They trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give Tailored Landscapes a call at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of their designers and stop by the Tailored Life store in Bennett.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker, who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
You'll never be criticized by someone who is doing more than you. You'll always be criticized by someone doing less. Never forget that. All right, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. It is a glorious Tuesday morning, early afternoon. Jake, how you doing, my friend?
Oh, not too bad. I'm feeling pretty good today. I'm going to remember that quote and try to tell DP that if he's ever criticizing me a little bit.
You hear that, DP? You've been called out, my friend. All right, as you can imagine, lots of stuff to talk about today. They're going to retire Shedeur Sanders' jersey or his number. You know they were 13 and 12 at Colorado over his 2 years there? D1 Daddy Ball at its finest. They're also going to retire Travis Hunter's, but I don't know. That guy won the Heisman Trophy and did things we've never seen before in college football. So I'm kind of okay with that one there. Spring game attendance continues to be just insanely down. All right. The national championship trophy breaks. Jake, why'd you break it?
It wasn't me this time.
It was this time? It wasn't you this time? All right. I wasn't going to talk about Ian Maliava today. But more stuff keeps coming out, including his dad apparently DMing with people and claiming he's getting higher offers than they even imagined. You know, the guy who's a part of the same crew that said that none of this stuff was actually happening at Tennessee while it was happening at Tennessee. They tried to character assassinate Pete Nakos. This isn't happening. We're going to sue you, et cetera, while it was all happening. So who knows how much truth there is to that. Tennessee may have their next quarterback, or at least an early favorite, potentially. Lots of Husker sports roundups, basketball news, men's, women's. The women's have signed a couple of transfer portal players. Chat about that just a little bit. Another 4-star in Lincoln. Rich Lovett will be coming back to Nebraska in wrestling. I want to discuss, why is there no Lifter of the Year trophy anymore in Nebraska football? I had a very interesting conversation at the Outland Trophy ceremony, or whatever you want to call it, back in January, with a particular person who has about as vested an interest in this as any person in the history of Earth. This person was not thrilled. And to be clear, I love Corey Campbell. I think he does a great job. This is about why this doesn't exist anymore, why it went away. Nebraska softball All right. Sweeps Northwestern. They've won 4 in a row, 6 out of 7. Did you know, were you a fan of the Seattle Mariners growing up at all?
Yeah. The Ken Griffey Jr., Randy Johnson, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, those are the two guys I'm staring at right now. Did you know they're professional photographers right now?
I did read an article about that, actually.
I would have never thought, because I grew up 4 hours from Seattle. You look on a map, Richmond, Pasco, Kennewick, Tri-Cities. It was Kennewick where I grew up. So I grew up rooting after being born in Hastings, but I grew up rooting for the Seattle Mariners. I remember when A-Rod was 18 and in the dugout for the first time. All right, Griffey and bad to the bone, Jay Buhner, who had one of the most unique batting stances I've ever seen, Edgar Martinez, Ken Griffey Jr., Joey Cora, Randy Johnson, et cetera, et cetera. I think they had Goose Gossage for a while. I could be wrong. Maybe that was with the Yankees. I just remember when I was younger, you just heard about his great career. And then I think he was with the Mariners later on. Maybe it was the Yankees. I'm not sure. All right. And somebody put out, I'm so happy to have a returning quarterback this year. Because I talked yesterday, 6 of the 7 quarterbacks from Arch Manning's class, his particular class, I think 2023, have all transferred at least once, if not twice. He's the only one who hasn't. Should we be a little extra grateful that Dylan's still here? I have no problem just calling it like I see it. The kid's everywhere. He's supporting everything. You can also see it as there's no camera he doesn't find. And I've said all along, as long as you win games. So that's part of the package, couldn't care less. Joe Namath could walk around in his fur coat. You know why? Because he was part of Super Bowl III and the greatest upset in the history of the NFL. All right, there are other guys who are insanely quiet, like Peyton Manning lives in Denver. My daughter played softball against his daughter. Peyton Manning was nowhere to be found. You know why? He'd watch the games from the car. So people would leave him the heck alone. But he's a little bit more private to himself. Hey, you're Peyton freaking Manning. If that's part of the package, that's part of the package. That's cool. But with Dylan Raiola, I've often said, he's one of the biggest advocates for Husker sports that there is. Nobody peer recruits like he does, or more than him anyways. And when people were getting on him, like, oh, he's a 5-star, he's this, he's that, why isn't he doing this, why isn't he doing that? Because he's a 19-year-old true freshman quarterback. I've heard some people say some interesting things. I was tempted to put the words out there, but I won't. And I'm just like, man, we'll see how he plays this fall. That's really what's going to matter. The dubs in the win column, the L's in the loss column, and how does he play? In the meantime, I feel like people, I've always appreciated Dylan. But not only has he stayed, he's trying to convince other people to stay. Jalen Gromstad specifically said that. He's trying to convince people to come here. I think there should be an appreciation for a kid who jumped all over in high school and committed and decommitted 92,000 times going into college. Maybe I exaggerate a smidge. But he seems to be as committed to Nebraska as anybody. And in a day and age when guys jump ship at the drop of a hat, I think that's something that should at least be appreciated a little bit. With Nico Iamaleava, it's interesting because it appears that Tulane might be one of the front runners. How do you go from Tennessee to, with all due respect, to Tulane? Well, it's about money is what it's about, but you don't see that as a bit of a downshift if that happens, Jake?
Is Tulane going to throw it? Is Tulane got a bunch of money laying around? Is that where the reason why? I mean, you have to assume he's trying to get there for the money.
All right. So I'm just going to go to a screenshot of the DMs, which I find this all a little suspect, if I'm being honest with you. The DMs, I mean, they look legit. They look real. It's blue blood bias or something like that on X. And the tweet that I saw was awaiting confirmation to share all of our DMs. Here's what I can share for now. And Coach Nick, that is his dad's account, Nick Niamaleava. Okay. And there's a little bit of back and forth here, but here's what matters. The offers we have received are better than what Nico was getting by a lot, ! Tulane and a lot of other schools, yes. And then he proceeds to say, y'all in the media need to understand this is business first, and we are allowed to seek opportunities elsewhere. Nico has offers over $4 million. That's the part that matters. The back and forth of, hey, guys in the media need to understand this, and then the individual running this account saying, hey, we love and respect you guys, et cetera, et cetera. So supposedly, he's getting offers of over $4 million from the same individual who went after Pete Nako, said this isn't all happening at Tennessee, while it was all happening at Tennessee. And apparently one of those bidders is Tulane. Thoughts, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that would just be surprising if that would be where it landed. And, obviously with $4 million out there as well. So it's interesting, the whole saga. I'm still intrigued by it because I think a ripple effect. A lot of people thought with that other quarterbacks might get raises around the country. And I'm just interested if anybody is sitting back in college football and if if this does work, while the rules and regulations still are where they are, and think, hey, I could do that too. And that's where, again, this being kind of a one player deal, everybody's kind of looking at Nico and looking at the situation and think this is crazy. If it starts to become a trend, well, then it's not so crazy. Then it is business, and then it is up to somebody to put guardrails up. There's got to be something, some point in time where it's like, okay, this is the time we have to, like, this is out of control. We have to take that next step. You would have thought maybe that's free agency in the middle of your playoffs. That didn't do it. So maybe this will be it. But if he signs with Tulane and they pay him all that money and there is no ripple effect, there's nobody else is really doing it, then it's just kind of a one-off and a very intriguing story to follow.
Some of the other schools that have been rumored, and who knows what's true and what's not, is UCLA and North Carolina. Now, there was legitimacy to the rumors behind North Carolina. I have been told that they bowed out with Bill Belichick and all them. Okay. In today's college football day and age, everything could change in let's just wait 5 seconds and see what else happens, Jake. All right. But it seems like UCLA is in the mix. It seems like, North Carolina probably bowed out. Tulane. All right. So if you couldn't tell, got a lot to talk about because we got a whole bunch of stuff on Matt Rule. His comments from the other day, some surprise players, surprise offensive linemen, some walk-ons. That term does still exist for now. That could make an impact, which always catches my ear. My brother-in-law is a walk-on. I met my wife through my brother-in-law, who I was friends with first. So walk-ons, I always have a near and dear spot to my heart. I say had because walk-ons don't exist anymore. They had to do everything that us scholarship players were doing and pay for school on top of it. And I always respected that. All right. Let's see. John Butler is going to be doing a press conference today. A couple of 3 players as well. So we got a whole bunch of rule stuff to talk about. We got some surprise players to talk about, O-line to talk about, a bunch of non-Husker stuff to talk about, Husker Sports Roundup in general. And then hopefully we can get the Butler and the players, if they don't start the press conference like 50 minutes late like they did last week. I guess, they got practice and, stuff like that that's supposed to be important too. Before we dive into this, I have to do the intro, Jake. You know that. All right, we'll come back to this real quick. But before I do, welcome into the Adam Carriker Show, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time. Grab your lunch. Come join us. Jake's life goal is to be slightly smarter than the average dumb guy. Occasionally, I achieve it with him. Sometimes we don't. But what you're going to hear is Husker sports, college football, sports in general. And in the meantime, you're going to get unique insight, unbridled honesty, and producer Jake and I are going to have a whole lot of fun in the process. Now, per Josh Pate, all right. Now, I talked about this yesterday. He said Nico Iamaleava and others threatened to opt out of the last season's college football playoff games unless they were paid more NIL money. I alluded to that yesterday. It wasn't just Nico. I did say that on air, did I? Or did I just... Maybe I was sitting... I can't remember.
I can't remember.
Here's what I know. Nico was doing it in the playoffs. Actively while they're getting ready to play Ohio State. Okay. Now, would you like to know what his stats were in that Ohio State game? Because they might have been better off without him.
Yeah.
14 of 31 passing. That's like good if you're shooting 3-pointers in a college basketball game. That's god-awful if you are trying to have a good completion percentage at any level. Unless we're talking like elementary school. That's a terrible completion percentage. 104 pass yards. All right. And they lost 42, like no touchdowns. Did nothing. 14 of 31, no TDs, 104 pass yards. They lost 42-17. Their secondary, which is very, very young, got exposed by a good Will Howard and an absolutely elite wide receiving core and Nico Iamaleava, and the offense there at Tennessee couldn't do jack diddly squat. Now, here's the quote. All right. And I quote, "This stuff was happening last December," from Pate, "during the playoffs with this kid included, but not just this kid. There were other players involved. They were trying to get more money from Tennessee and other playoff teams before the playoffs. They were trying to leverage playoff participation. End quote. Ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you there are people involved in college football who don't care about college football, I mean it. And these are the types of things that I hear about. Not all the stuff comes to the forefront like this Nico thing. Not all of this stuff is public knowledge. I'm not aware of all of it. I just know what I hear. Some of it I share, some of it I don't. Some of it blows up because it's so ridiculously asinine. Not Assa 7, not Assa 8, Assa frickin' 9. And I've kind of gone in on Nico, so I won't continue to do that. But the people who are in charge of college football, this is an absolute embarrassment. Let me amend that statement. For the people who are supposedly in charge of college football, it's an absolute embarrassment. The folks in charge of college football have fancy suits. They drive around in fancy cars. They may not even know what going forward on fourth down means, but they know what that dollar sign looks like, and they are the ones in charge of the game. I'm not trying to take shots. It sounds like a shot, but if I told you 2 + 2 = 4, is that an insult or is that just the truth? We need a central figure or a central group of people in charge who care about the sport as a whole, whether it's a commissioner or whatever the case may be. As much as I dislike Roger Goodell, man, he's done a lot. I look at him from a player's perspective. You're not going to find many players that like him. From a business perspective, from a growth of the game, from a making money for everybody, from a growth of the audience standpoint, he's knocked it out the park. I'll spare you why most players don't like him. What matters is what's best for the game in the NFL. He's done phenomenal. That's what should matter in college football. What matters is that almighty dollar sign. It should be a part of it. It's going to be a huge factor. That's just the way the world works. But it shouldn't be number 1, 2, 3, 4, and top 50 on the priority list. And then somehow you fit what's best for the game around spot 100. Maybe. On the top 100 priority list, what's best for college football is probably about 101. When I say that, I mean it. Things like this, it hits people in the face so hard you just can't ignore it right now. So here's the explanation. There are people who are just trying to take advantage of the game right now. And here's the explanation. And I want your opinion on this. From a business perspective, from a football perspective, no. From a business perspective, Jake, does this make sense? And I quote, this is the people representing these players. Now, none of these other players have been named yet. All we know about right now is Nico, at least publicly. All right, and I quote, our client is being paid X amount of money to participate in 12 games, maybe a 13th if you make the conference championship game. But you guys made the playoff. He should make more money. This is the kind, well, that's the end of the quote. And then Josh Pate, after sharing that quote, said this is the kind of BS that's happening behind the scenes right now. From a business perspective, what are your thoughts here, Jake? Are you going to come in for free on a Saturday when you're getting paid for 5 days? What are your thoughts? No, I'm not advocating for this. I am trying to put myself in their shoes as I so often try to do. But what's your response to this?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that's, kind of changed. I believe they've kind of changed in the NFL. You always get paid for playoffs or whatever. I think that it's become up in leagues before, when you're playing longer and into the season, and obviously money-making time for the league, the further you get into the playoffs. So there's something behind it. The problem I have, I guess, with it is if you're a college football player and you sign up for the season and you expect 13 games, that's not the goal. So when and it very well could be that's what's going to happen for most teams that make a bowl game, I suppose. But I just think if you're at Ohio State or Tennessee, I mean Tennessee maybe surprisingly somewhat made the playoffs, or I don't know if I'd put it quite in that category. But I understand. I get both sides. I get the players' side of arguing there are more games, so, like you're kind of saying. But the other side of it is when you sign that contract, it just depends on kind of what was stated at that time, because there should be an expectation at a place like Ohio State, Alabama, that you're going to get more than 13 games.
When I saw that, so I was in the NFL for 8 years. I signed 2 contracts. I think that's right. My rookie year and then my second contract with the Skins. And I don't think ever at any point did my agent say, all right, if you play 18 games, you get X amount. If you play the 16 games, which was the regular season back then, you get X amount. No, the escalators in the contract were if you had X amount of sacks. If the defense, like my rookie year, they had a really bad run defense before I got there. And if we dropped to like top 15, because I think they were like 28th or something, then top 15, I got a bonus for that. Coming in, they put me in the nose guard, because I look like a nose guard to anybody. And we did. And so I got an escalator for that. And I know sometimes there's a certain amount of catches and a certain amount of play time and a certain amount of sacks. Everybody's escalators are different. And if you get more games to play, you have more opportunities to get to those numbers. Sometimes coaches will have, if you win the NFC title game and the Super Bowl or whatever, or if you win the Big Ten championship, you get more money. It's always based on if you achieve a certain amount attached to something you do on the field, as opposed to, well, if you showed up for a 19th game, you get X amount of money or more money. That never even occurred to me. This is like the first time I think I've ever actually heard of something like that. It was always connected to additional wins or additional stats or additional production on the field. It was never, well, you had to show up for additional games, so you should get. It was always just insinuated as part of the contract. You want to play as many games as you can because it means you're making a deeper playoff run. And that's what we're paying you for to begin with. Like, that's how I always looked at it. So for it to be put this way from a money grab, don't give a crap about anything, but I want a fancier car perspective, great logic. Outside of that, asinine. I don't know. Does that make sense, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to break down again to me without knowing what they were talking about going into the contracts. And I believe the NFL you do get paid more for each round you get, but I don't think it's like contract tied to the team. I think it's like an NFL compensation that they have. So
it's not tied to the team. Like, it was never a part of my contract.
Right.
It was like the NFL, the Madden game. We always got more money for the Madden game every year, but that had nothing to do with my contract with the Rams or the Redskins. It was more NFL dictated. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The differentiation there.
So, I mean, again, it just further shows you, and you're going to find more and more problems the more you dig into the weeds, is that if you don't, like you said, have a commissioner or have somebody in charge, the NCAA has kind of been a guidance, but not in charge. They can hand down stuff, but obviously, as we've seen, the conferences kind of act for themselves. And so, as long as you have all these problems, I mean, they can all be these other problems that come up, and that's kind of, unfortunately, without this being handled correctly, and all of a sudden, a couple of years ago, just going, yeah, I guess NIL's okay. Well, then we've had all these changes to college football and all these things that still are yet to be explored. The further people want to push the boundaries, and until there are guardrails in play, I think you're gonna see more of this exposed.
My question is, when is the breaking point? When is it enough? And it's like, that is so ridiculously ridiculous that somebody's got to step in and do something. What is it not this? Is it not? He signed a record-breaking deal. 5-star quarterback out of California going to Tennessee for some reason. Oh, because he signed what was a mind-blowing record, $8 million deal at the time over the course of years. Well, now the market has changed, which is why he asked for more money. He got Carson Beck, who was an average quarterback last year. I explained the lack of a running game, the most amount of drops in the entire country Georgia had, et cetera, et cetera. You look at his stats, they were slightly above average. And, oh, by the way, he's got a torn UCL. I've torn my UCL. My son has torn it. I know what that entails. So there's a lot of question marks around that. That guy got $4 million. Nico's like, I'm getting 2.4. He got 4. My stats absolutely suck. I've done nothing to earn it. But this is the leverage that I've got with a bunch of freshmen behind me. Heupel handled this gloriously from the podium yesterday. And basically he said, we're going to move on, wish him nothing but the best, enjoyed our time with him. He's got a bright future. And then he went on to say, hey, we've done this with various and different quarterbacks before, guys with more experience, less experience. Basically, Like, they've got freshmen behind him who haven't played, and he's like, we're going to figure it out. By the way, Kansas State's quarterback, Avery Johnson, is one of the main guys being talked about potentially going to Tennessee. The guy with the long hair, he's 20 years old. He is the individual who actually beat out Will Howard. If anybody remembers, Will Howard beat out Adrian, then Avery actually beat out Will Howard, which is how Will Howard ended up at Ohio State. If anybody remembers that whole chain of reaction. So you make an interesting point. If this works, this blows the roof off of everything. This says to every player, you can literally do whatever you want to do, and you're going to be rewarded for it if this works. Now, Paul Feinbaum, a guy that I've openly said, I don't pay attention to anything you say. And then I said, he owned up to some things, and I'm like, man, that takes a lot of gumption right there. So I respect the heck out of him a lot more after that last fall, most of it SEC bias related. Him and Stephen A. Smith had quite the convo. And I'm not going to play the whole thing. The gist of it was they kind of think Nico's career might be over because it could go the other way. You may have done such a crazy thing, such a ridiculously asinine thing that schools may not want to touch you. And Tulane, all due respect, if they've got the money, great, but you might end up going to one of these other schools because nobody will touch you. That's of a certain level and a certain monetary value that they could pay you. So they think it might go the other way. This is nothing against Nico. I wish him nothing but the best. I want to make that clear. This is about what's best for the game of college football. If this works, this could be the worst thing to ever happen to the game of college football since Texas football was invented. Outside of that, if this doesn't work and he has severe consequences, this could finally be the thing that signals to people, hey, we need to rein some things in. So I hope it doesn't work. I'm not hoping his career is over. If that's a side effect, that sucks for him. I want what's best for college football, so I hope it doesn't work. Whatever that means and whatever that looks like. I just thought it was interesting. They're like, his career's over. And I was like, whoa, those are really strong words. Now, I don't know. When they didn't specify, does that mean going to a smaller school or just nobody's going to touch him? Somebody's going to take him in. The question is, what level is that school? How good are they? What's the situation? What does he actually get paid? Was this worth it? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we come back. 13 and 12. They get your jersey and number retired to Colorado. Daddy Ball at its finest. Jake's just waiting to start the commercial, and I'm pausing for effect, and he's just sitting there with the smile on his face like, all right, Adam, when are you going to do it? I'm just 13 and 12. Hey, Dion turned around the program. Shadur was a huge part of that. Travis was a huge part of that. Their record since they walked in the door is 13 and 12, and that got Shadur's number is going to be retired. D1 Daddy Ball. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine with light winds. The afternoon high around 67. Tonight, mainly clear skies and light winds, a low near 45. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies. It'll be breezy and warm with the high near 82. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
At Allo, we go beyond internet, bringing you faster speeds backed by an all-fiber network. We go beyond TV and phone service, delivering reliable, crystal clear connections. We go beyond customer service with local teammates and no robots for a hassle-free experience. We go beyond value, offering transparent prices with no contracts, hidden fees, or data caps. We even go beyond our office doors by working, hiring, volunteering, and living in the communities we serve. Go beyond fiber. Sign up today at allofiber.com.
You don't have to cross your fingers when digging into the ground this spring. Start every project with a call to Nebraska 811 so utilities like LES can mark their buried lines and you can avoid injury and power outages.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it's becoming a wild ride in the car market these days, but Koppel wants to let you know and assure you that we are staying the course with our usual pricing model. We've still got huge discounts and low interest rates, so let's get after it. We've got over $12,500 off list price or 0% APR right now on select new vehicles. New and pre-owned, our lots are full, so now's the time to buy. Please stop on in the dealership or check us out at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. Stock number G187747. All deals with roof credit.
Start your engines, race fans. Race season at Eagle Raceway officially starts this Friday and Saturday. Friday, April 18th and Saturday, April 19th is the Icebreaker Challenge, presented by Stop and Shop and Auto Transmatic at Eagle Raceway. Both days feature Nebraska's best lawn and landscape modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, and A1 Iron stock cars. Friday also features Valentino's Hobby Stocks. Saturday will feature Nebraska Septic Sprint cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. For more info, visit eagleraceway.com.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nebraska softball has won 4 games in a row. They just finished off a 3-game sweep of a Northwestern team that was actually surging. Northwestern entered the weekend before they played the Huskers, tied for first in the Big Ten standings. The Huskers went to Evanston, run-ruled them twice, swept the 3-game series. JORDY BAHL is once again your Big Ten pitcher of the week. Nebraska softball on Sunday shuts out Northwestern 3-0, out-hitting them 7-2. And unlike the men's game the other day, there were 0 other errors, easy for me to say, both sides combined. Nebraska softball 31-10 overall in the year, 10-3 in the Big Ten. All right, let me take that back. 32-10, 11-3 in the Big Ten. All right, did sweep Northwestern, who's now 21-14 and 1. They have a tie apparently, and they are 9-4 the Big Ten as well. So it was interesting. The Saturday, Sunday, and Monday victories secured Nebraska its first series win over Northwestern since 2017. And now Nebraska is in third place in the Big Ten standings for softball as well. All right, Ridge Lovett, national champion wrestler, is going to be coming back to Lincoln again next year. I think that's some exciting news. I know he'll be doing a lot of stuff, Takedown Tuesdays here on 93.7 The Ticket. As always, you can check out all things The Ticket at theticketfm.com. Also Facebook, X, YouTube, podcast platforms, Amazon Prime, or just simply turn your radio dial to 93.7. Other Husker sports news. Nebraska basketball is one of two Big Ten schools with back-to-back 20-plus win seasons in both the men's and women's basketball. Did you know that, Jake?
I heard the story for each of them. I didn't know that they were in elite status there in the Big Ten.
Are we underappreciating Nebraska basketball somehow? No, we didn't make the Big Ten tournament. No. Okay. We'll appreciate the crown, but we need more Big Ten tournaments and an NCAA tournament win at some point. But we'll take the crown for now, plus the portal additions. Again, I mentioned this yesterday. When you look at the Big Ten transfer portal rankings, when it comes to basketball, number 1 is Wisconsin, number 2, Michigan, number 3, Washington, number 4, right there for the men, is Nebraska basketball. You've been a little cynical when it comes to Nebraska basketball, all right? You're going to say I tell the truth and I'm a realist. I'm going to use the C word, cynical, just because that's more fun, and hopefully you fire back at me a little bit. But when it comes to these transfer portal incomers, do they get you a little fired up for next year? What are your thoughts, Jake?
Yeah, I think they put a good team together. I personally like teams that can shoot pretty well, and that looks like they're recruiting based around shooting, not solely obviously, but have filled out the roster well. And again, I just keep going back. You're not going to replace Bryce Williams, but if you can recruit enough good players around the player, like the Rink Mass, the Connor Station, Sam Hoibergs that you have coming back, you could maybe have a better team. And certainly I think they look like they're going to have a more complete team. They better, because they don't have a Bryce Williams or Juwan Gary to kind of pick that up. So, but no, I mean, I think from at one point looking at that roster that's returning and thinking, oh boy, they're going to have to do a lot in the transfer portal. Well, they did. And they've done enough that makes me pretty excited about what they've got brewing for next season.
I think, like you said, they're going to be a more well-rounded team, a deeper team, a little bit more complete team, better shooting team. I think they're going to score more points. We've also discussed, don't know if the defense will be quite as good, so we'll see how that works. I think having an inside presence and Rink Mass, which is something, with all due respect, we missed a little bit last year. This team has the potential to be better next year. My big question mark, defensively. When we struggled in games, it was the defense that we struggled in. The rotation, things of that nature, help side. And I look at this roster, and I'm like, oh, we can shoot, we can score. We got more scores. We're a little bit more well-rounded. How are we going to stop anybody from scoring? So we're going to be fun to watch, basically, Jake. We're going to be a lot of fun to watch. I'll start with that, and we can build from there. All right, Nebraska women's basketball. Kansas State forward Eliza Maupin commits to Nebraska women's basketball. The 6'3 junior averaged 3.9 points on 63.2% shooting in 33 games this season. So they've made a portal addition, and another portal addition. Northwestern transfer Haley Weaver has committed to Nebraska. She averaged 8 points a game. All right, and 1 steal per game in the 2023 to 2024 season as well. All right. Last two things, Husker Sports Roundup Wise. After returning to Lincoln over the weekend, 4-star athlete Ryan Mosley tells Chad Simmons of On3 the Nebraska is a contender in his recruitment. He will be making a return trip to Lincoln as well. So here's what I've noticed. The offers to in-state recruits, we've discussed this, is down. The commits is down. The focus on in-state recruits is down. That's fine. If you're not good enough to play, I don't care where you live or where you grew up. You got to be good enough at football first, or you got to have a future that says you're going to be good enough if we develop you, which is harder to do in the transfer portal NIL era. That's first and foremost, regardless of where you live and or where you grew up. We mentioned this. Okay, there's like 5 of the top 10 current players in the state of Nebraska are committed to Iowa State. Iowa State has the number 19 recruiting class in the entire country right now. Of their 12 players, 5 are from Nebraska. So I'm like, oh, maybe some of those players are pretty good. But here's what I've noticed. They are recruiting nationally, and they are going after like nationally highly sought after players. And I think that's where the shift has come in from, hey, let's focus on the Nebraska boys to let's focus on the most highly sought after players across the country because we now have the ability to do so. So we'll see how it plays out. We'll see how many we can get. We'll see how many we can keep. And we can see how many actually produce on the field, which is a question mark no matter where these kids go to high school. That's like one of the biggest things every college football coach has to deal with right now, if not possibly the biggest thing. All right, so that's something everybody has to deal with, but it's just something I'm kind of keeping my eye on. There was an interesting screenshot put out by Sports Illustrated, and it's a screenshot of Rory celebrating winning the Masters. And Paige Sporonic put out on X. And if you look at this picture, I'm looking at it right now. I don't see a single cell phone as I stare at my cell phone. I don't see a single person looking at their cell phone, taking pictures with their cell phone. Not that any of these things are bad, but here's what Paige had to say. Hot take, I wish all sporting events banned phones. It was so special to see everyone enjoying the moment and being present. We ain't got to spend a lot of time on this, but would you be down for something like that, Jake?
I'm sorry, can you say that? I was looking through my phone.
Taking one of your infamous snaps, I understand. Yeah, that's okay. I know you're doing work over there. I'll go ahead and answer it. They're not going to ban cell phones. Okay, they're just not going to unless it becomes some sort of a security threat or defense threat. But my wife takes like over 1,000 pictures a month. She wants to have a photography business one day when we got 6 kids in the house. The more or less we're doing with them at one point as they start to move out, the more time we'll have to do other things. Because at one point, she had wanted to have a photography business. She takes over 1,000 pictures. She's still been hired from time to time randomly from people reaching out because she does such a good job. My point is, I'm the person who's like, she's the one who loves to take pictures and edit them and keep them and have memories forever. I'm the person that's like, can I just live in the moment? That's just me. Part of that is I know she's going to take a lot of pictures. Maybe I'd feel different if that wasn't who she was, if she didn't take so many pictures, which is awesome because it allows me to live in the moment. She wants to take the pictures. There's something to be said for just living in the moment. Anytime I'm at something and I have to put my phone away for whatever the reason may be, very rarely does it upset me. It's like, all right, I'm free. Oh my God, I'm free. These little strings of people pulling me here and there, no complaints. I'm just like, they're cut and they're gone for a while. And we all need our phones, and phones have value. They do a lot of things for us. But my point is, sometimes it's nice just to be in the moment. Speaking of taking pictures, all right, so one of the most iconic photos from Rory winning the Masters is him like, got his head in his hands. He's on all fours on the ground, just celebrating in disbelief. And it was taken by Ken Griffey Jr., one of the greatest home run hitters and all-around baseball players of all time, is now a professional photographer and taking professional photos at places like the Masters. Randy Johnson. Who would have known that the Seattle Mariners had such a dynamic professional photography row of people coming up when they were, trying to win the World Series back in the day? Randy Johnson has been a professional photographer for several things, including the NFL. I'm staring at a picture of him with, that camera must be worth like $10,000, $15,000. It's bigger than his head is. And the NFL logo is right on his jacket right there. I don't know. I just think that's kind of cool. Like, you must be super passionate about something. If you've made the amount of money that those two guys have made and you're willing to spend the amount of hours that it takes to be a professional photographer, you must really love what you're doing. Kind of putting a button on players coming and going. This is an interesting stat. All right. Going back to that 2023 class, 8 of the 2023 top 10 quarterbacks have already transferred. And in addition, 2 of the top 6 have already transferred twice. All right. Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter will be retiring. Colorado will be retiring the numbers 2 and 12 in honor of Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. I got no problem with Travis Hunter whatsoever. I got no problem with Shedeur Sanders, but the retiring of the number, good God. Jake, what are your thoughts here?
Well, I initially kind of thought the same thing because Cordell Stewart doesn't have his number retired. You know, guys that have had top 10 teams, he had 2 of them. So they haven't had anybody retired since Rashawn Salam's number 19, who, of course, won the Heisman as well. So both Heisman winners. So initially, I kind of thought that's ridiculous. The more I thought into it, though, is maybe it's like Nebraska, and I don't know. Maybe it's like Nebraska, where their major award winners, names get put up on the stadium. And there might be other players throughout history they think, I think they're better than them. But the award winners get there. And I don't know if Slash ever won any award. I know Shedeur Sanders did win the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award for the best senior quarterback this past year. So that might be kind of something to consider into this. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really good Colorado players that didn't necessarily. And this is just kind of quick. That's the other thing is like, and I like it. Capitalize on the excitement that they have, especially right ahead of the NFL draft. Keep the momentum of the program. But sometimes we see teams wait years before they retire jerseys. They did this rather quickly. Again, kind of similar thoughts. Travis Hunter, definitely. Shedeur Sanders, I got to squint to see it, but okay, that's what they're going to go with. And so that's the only thing that I thought of that might back up why they're doing that.
It's a decent thought. I like how you're trying to put yourself in their shoes. It's a good thing to try to do.
That's right.
I still have a hard time with it. So here's the stat that was sent to me, and it was from somebody at Barstool, Colorado State. So they're a big fan of Colorado football. 13-12 record, 0 conference championships, and 93 YouTube videos. Well deserved on the number being retired. It might help if they actually put out like, hey, it's all major award winners are going to be retired. That aside, anyways, we're just going to move on. All right. Now, Oklahoma, I'm not aware of Oklahoma. Did they have an actual spring game, or was it like the spring game replacement weekend that Nebraska's having?
Let me look it. I'm not sure either.
Because Alabama had 15,000 people. Oklahoma had 5,000 people.
There's no way they had a spring game because they usually pack it out.
I'm telling you, man, some people are getting really weary and really tired of certain things. All right, Vice President J.D. Vance, an Ohio State alum, accidentally dropped the Buckeyes national title trophy. Now, if you watch the video, I was like, oh, man. This is like every person's worst nightmare. Like you're running out of the tunnel in front of 90,000 and you fall on your face type deal. Like this is like you don't want to be the person to drop or break the trophy. He did drop it. It did break. Maybe I should watch the video again. It was almost like it was breaking as it was handed to him. It was weird, which I find hard to believe. I'd have to watch it again. But, Jake, what would you do? Nebraska wins a national title. The long-awaited drought is over. You're holding the trophy. You drop it and you break it. What would you do?
I'd be very embarrassed. And obviously look around. I'd be worried about the cost of it, too. Obviously, in my situation, maybe J.D. Vance doesn't have to worry as much about it. But, yeah, I mean, it was weird, though, because it was like, I don't know, like a Lego or something that comes together in 2 pieces.
It was.
And so, like, the top kind of came off and he dropped the bottom.
That's what I thought.
I guess the bottom's less important, I think. But I don't know. I mean, I would think either way you would make it secure. But he probably didn't know that it would come apart in 2 pieces. So I don't know.
Yeah. Just kind of one of those situations everyone dreads, and sometimes they unfortunately happen. All right. Quick thoughts, and we're going to go to break. We're going to talk about no more Lifter of the Year trophy for football. Ryan Clark put this out a few days ago on X. I'm a weirdo. This is not me. This is Ryan. I'm a weirdo, but I think it's a huge deal that Travis Hunter didn't catch with gloves at his pro day. Showed how sticky his hands are. No better tracker of the ball or ball skills in this draft. Does it matter to you that Travis Hunter uses or doesn't use gloves at his pro day?
No, I hadn't thought about it too much.
Yeah, I hadn't either. I was more attracted to the I'm a weirdo part at the beginning. I was almost like, I know this is a dumb thing to say, but if I preface it, it's okay. Ryan Clark has some good takes on football. Sometimes he doesn't. You can say the same for yours truly. Man, if I had the and we're going to talk more about the draft. It's maybe 2 weeks away?
Yeah.
A week?
Yeah. I think it's next Thursday, right?
That's what I thought.
24th.
Like, I tell you what, the top 2 picks, in my mind, depending on team needs, are unequivocally based on best football player, Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter. Now, I really like Travis Hunter. If you had the number 1 pick and you didn't, you could just take best player available because Cam Ward might go. We don't know. Rated the number 1 quarterback. By the way, a lot of rumors Jackson Dart has leapfrogged Shadur Sanders in some circles, which would not surprise me.
He's being invited to the NFL draft, which is interesting.
I'd be very interested in Jackson Dart. The more I have a whole bunch of information. I've just been holding on till the draft gets closer. Like, I'd be very intrigued by Jackson Dart. Okay. But if somebody told you could draft the next Deion Sanders, because I look at Travis Hunter, and the personalities are somewhat similar but somewhat different. There's differences, but there's obvious similarities. If someone's like, you could draft the next Deion Sanders, how do you pass that up if that's Travis Hunter? And you're sure that that's like his, you never know. But as you're sure as you can possibly be that that's the next Deion Sanders right there. How would you pass that up? If let's say you needed a quarterback, would you take Cam? Would you take Abdul Carter? Which I can argue quarterback and the guys who rush the quarterback are the 2 most important positions in football. Would you take Cam if you needed a quarterback? Would you take Abdul Carter, by far and away the most highest ceiling of any potential pass rusher? You never know what's actually going to happen, but highest ceiling at this point in time of any potential pass rusher in the draft, or Travis Hunter, who may very well be as close to what you're ever going to get as the next Deion Sanders, knowing that going into the draft. Who would you take?
Well, it's interesting, and I don't want to make a cop-out answer, so I'll get to my answer here quickly, but it does matter, having those discussions. I think Matt Rule, if he could have redone his thing in Carolina, he would have taken a quarterback in the first round at some point because he never got a quarterback to ride with. So that's kind of the one thing I think it somewhat protects your job even. I mean, you'd have to be pretty bad with a rookie quarterback and things go off the rails to be fired. Usually get time to see if that quarterback works out. So a little bit of job security might help with the quarterback pick, but I'm kind of with you. What I really like about Travis Hunter is that, let's say we're wrong about him at cornerback and he's okay. Well, you can try him out at wide receiver. Like, he's the only player that's like would be draftable top 10 on 2 sides of the ball. So I mean, you get 2 players in one if the first experiment, if you put it that way, doesn't work out.
You get a returner. He wasn't used as a returner at Colorado. But let's say you don't want him to play 100 and whatever it was, 18 plays every game because it's the NFL, and maybe that's not the smartest thing to do at the next level. But you could put him at returner. Like, personally, what I would do is I'd draft him as a receiver. I wouldn't use him in nickel because sometimes nickel becomes your main defense, the way things are ran in the NFL. I'd put him on like speed nickel or dime, but I'd make him my returner. So he's out there occasionally as a DB, but man, getting the ball in his hands, he can stretch the field. He can make plays. He can give you great field position returning the ball. He already knows how to take care of his body. He's already incredibly smart. He knew everything to do on both sides of the ball. The intellect that takes at that level is incredibly smart. It's that of a quarterback or higher because you're learning both playbooks. Man, I think if you draft the wrong quarterback, and I'm not saying Cam's the wrong quarterback, but if you draft the wrong quarterback, you set your franchise back years. So you'd have to be convinced Cam is the guy. Abdul Carter, that's a future Pro Bowl pass rusher. I'd be hard-pressed not to take Travis Hunter. Man, I tell you, there's so many intangibles and off-the-field things that I like, too, that I think play a huge factor. I'd be very inclined to take Travis Hunter. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we come back. Nebraska football no longer has a Lifter of the Year award. Well, let's chat about that.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it's becoming a wild ride in the car market these days, but Koppel wants to let you know and assure you that we are staying the course with our usual pricing model. We've still got huge discounts and low interest rates, so let's get after it. We've got over $12,500 off list price or 0% APR right now on select new vehicles. New and pre-owned, our lots are full, so now's the time to buy. Please stop on in the dealership or check us out at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. Stock number G187747. All deals with roof credit.
Make plans to join 93.7 The Ticket and the Amon Green Foundation for the first annual Nebraska Esports Golf Tournament on Monday, June 9th at Wilderness Ridge. It's a 4-man scramble starting at 11 a.m. that will feature former Husker greats, including Amon Green, Johnny Rogers, Niles Paul, Tony Davis, Adam Carriker, Vershawn Jackson, and more, with great prizes and great golf. Sponsorships are also available. Email jake@theticketfm.com for more questions or sign your team up online at theticketfm.com. Early bird registration goes through April 20th, and overall registration goes through May 30th.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a one-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at GoHogWild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more. Start your engines, race fans. Race season at Eagle Raceway officially starts this Friday and Saturday. Friday, April 18th and Saturday, April 19th is the Icebreaker Challenge, presented by Stop and Shop and Auto Transmatic at Eagle Raceway. Both days feature Nebraska's best lawn and landscape modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, and A1 Iron stock cars. Friday also features Valentino's Hobby Stocks. Saturday will feature Nebraska Septic Sprint cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. For more info, visit eagleraceway.com.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl Jordan with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Allow me to get a bit sappy. For women, jewelry isn't just a gift. It's a timeless symbol of love and appreciation. You have to get this right. No fleeting trends or gadgets will make the impact. Every time she wears it, every time she gets a compliment, you win. Trust me, guys, you'll get your money worth. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown's Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $15 off any regular priced athletic shoes with respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, and On Running. And don't forget, Brown's carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start your spring off right at Brown's Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. All right. I thought this was a cool story. Boy who sells his Pokemon cards, and there's a picture of him on the side of the road. Homemade sign, Pokemon sale, umbrella. Kid looks like he's 8, lawn chair, all that stuff. Typical lemonade stand stuff. By the way, my daughters have made $44 selling lemonade.
Nice.
One person was incredibly nice and just gave him a $20 bill. Boy who sells his lemonade or Pokemon cards to raise $650 to save his dog's life ends up raising $19,500 and saves the dog. Kind of a wholesome, heartwarming story there, if you will. All right, congratulations to the 2024-2025 Lifter of the Year for Nebraska Wrestling. That's Hayden Mills. Now, congratulations to Hayden. I instantly thought of a conversation that I had with Boyd Epley. I'm at the Outland Trophy ceremony. I think it was January 22nd in Omaha, and Boyd and I are just chatting. And somehow the Lifter of the Year trophy randomly came up. And he goes, yeah, I've got it in my house. Why do you have it in your house? He goes, they don't give it out anymore. at the football team. And I was like, what? And to be clear, if you remember, it was actually changed to the Boyd Epley Award about a year or two before they quit giving it out. So the Boyd Epley Award, the Lift of the Year trophy, whatever you'd like to call it. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they don't do it. He didn't say a lot. But you know when you look at a person, you can like see in their eyes that they're like really bothered by something? Like that's what I saw. I could just like, he didn't want to talk about it, but it was weird because he didn't want to let it go either. You know? And it's interesting because they give out Lifter of the Year awards for other sports, but not football. Not the one where the place that started incorporating lifting weights and football at a time when it was considered bad because it was going to make your athletes too stiff and unathletic was Nebraska. That guy was Boyd Epley. The coach that convinced Bob Devaney to do it was Tom Osborne. Devaney said, this doesn't work out. You guys are fired, by the way. That's how much Osborne believed in it. He was the offensive coordinator for Devaney. And it was like the late 60s, which, by the way, probably had a huge, gigantic impact on the 70-71 national championship teams, especially that 71 team that just, curb stomped everybody under God's hot sun, except Oklahoma, which averaged over 400 yards rushing a game. That might be the greatest team, and I know there's going to be 93, 99, and 82 and 83 Husker fans that get really mad at me. They'd be in this conversation, especially 80, no disrespect to 82, but 83 and 93. Okay, but that 71 Oklahoma team, they ended up number 2 in the country, absolutely destroyed. I think it was, I forget, they played Auburn. They were like number 3. They played number 4 Auburn. Okay, I think Nebraska played Oklahoma. Like, Nebraska just absolutely mollywopped Alabama for the national title. I want to say it was 38-6 at the Orange Bowl. I could be wrong. Oklahoma just obliterated Auburn. They were clearly the 2 best teams in the country. That might be the best team in the history of college football to not win a national title. All right. All the Husker fans from those other years that I aforementioned can come after me with pitchforks if they'd like. Send your text to Jake, however. All right. I was taken aback when Boyd's like, they're not giving away the Lifter of the Year, the Boyd Epley Award anymore. Obviously, he has a direct tie for this. He was the main reason. He started lifting on his own. And then he took off in track. And then this was noticed, and his physique changed, and it caught Osborne's attention. And that's how it came into Nebraska football. And then it spread throughout college football. It was an incredibly risky thing to do, and it was a game-changing thing to do. Husker power, how many times have we heard that? It's been a while since it had a little bit more oomph behind it. You think back to that Orange Bowl versus Miami, the difference was Husker power. You think back to the Fiesta Bowl versus Florida, good Lord. The physical level that those guys played on versus the number 2 team in the country. Florida still finished number 2 after losing 62-24. It's how good Florida was. It was just another planet. The physicality of the 97 team was in another universe. The Husker teams for so long may not have been as fast, may not have been as talented, but they were going to hit you right in the mouth. And teams knew that. I forget his name now. He was playing semi-pro football when I was back on a break. I was in college. I want to say I was a freshman. I went back for summer, like a brief break before we came back for summer conditioning. I was back home, and he played for Washington in 97 when Nebraska went up and beat Washington, number 2 in the country. Brock Hewitt, all that, 7-2. They won 24-7. It was really Scott Frost's coming out party. Because I think it was the week before where he got booed by the fans for UCF, and Frankie London came in, even though Osborne had said Frankie was going to come in no matter what. But then Scott played great in that Washington game. The whole team did, and he never looked back. There was a guy that was on that team that was on the semi-pro, helping coach the semi-pro team. He was huge. Like, he was huge. As soon as he heard I was from Nebraska, he goes, Nebraska, we played them. And his eyes got huge. He goes, those dudes were unreal. I watched like a 350-pound Samoan guy just like wilt into this tiny little thing that at the moment of just thinking about that game. Husker power, lifting, the weight room was a gigantic advantage. And the Lifter of the Year award was something that was immensely one of my goals when I got here. When I think of my favorite awards that I've ever been able to be lucky enough to achieve, I'm not going to list them because it sounds like I'm bragging, but I'm just going to say there's 4 that stick out to me. It's one of the 4. I hadn't even started a game yet. That's how much it meant to me. Like, I have these 4 awards in a certain place in my house. I don't have a whole lot of things up, but I have those 4. It's there. There are things with bigger acclaim to it, more national appeal to it. But to me, it's one of those 4. I don't know if many people know this. I almost won it twice. My senior year, I got second. How in the world can I get mad at a guy like Brandon Rigoni beating me out? I was like, if anybody's going to beat me out, Brandon Rigoni, yeah, no problem with that. I interviewed Rex the other day. He won it twice. Made me jealous. I was like, you are such a nice guy. All right. My point is, I not much has been made of this. I wasn't even aware of it. Boyd didn't say a whole lot. It's like he didn't want to talk about it, but he didn't want to let it go. You could tell it hurt him. It's named the Boyd Epley Award now. Well, when we gave it out, or the Lift of the Year Award. To me, I always thought it gave people something to strive for. I thought it was, I don't know, maybe it's an individual award. So that's why, I don't know. I have to ask him. Since that night, I've not talked with anybody. I've not followed up. But I just saw this, and it made me think of that. One of my twins, when she was 2, threw a gigantic fit, ran into the bookshelf, out of control, knocked the Lifter of the Year award that I have on the ground, and it broke. Luckily, that thing's heavy. Like, it missed her, thank God. That thing is heavy, though. We got a new one. We got a new one. But, like, I was like, no! Like, I need to do a little bit more research. I need to have a few more conversations. But the fact that we're not giving this out, I have a hard time trying to comprehend what it would be. Is it too individualistic? To me, it's something to strive for. It's honoring someone who's worked their butt off. Should we not give out conference awards now? All-American awards? I don't know. What do you think, Jake?
Yeah, I don't know. That just surprised me to hear that's not, because that's something you think about with Husker Power. Like you said, I mean, it's a big deal. You know, at certain times, I think guys won that didn't maybe play as much, and so maybe there was like a thought of, maybe it gets people frustrated as far as like, why isn't this guy playing? But that was going on for a long time. So I don't know why they would not do that. I've always been upset too. They stopped counting pancakes. I've never understood it as a program. Now I think they did it because they went from the option offense to West Coast, and they weren't going to equal the same amount of pancakes. But bring that back too.
Yes. Hallelujah. Amen. Preach, Pastor Jake. He says we have to go to break. They already got rid of I'll go quickly. We got to go to break. They got rid of the Husker platform. So what that is there used to be a point system based on what your 40 time was, your 10 time, the 20-yard dash, your vert. Okay. Based on your time and your weight, you got a certain amount of points. And if you accumulated enough points, and there weren't many people on this platform from over the decades, 30, 40, probably not 50, probably 30 or 40. And not many that weren't football. All due respect to other sports. There were other names on there, but not many that weren't football. The day my parents dropped me off, July 7th, going into my true freshman year, former defensive end Justin Smith, I slept on his couch for 2 weeks. He opened up the dorms. I started camp back when you could do 2-a-days. But my first day in the weight room, I weighed 247. I watched another true freshman DN rep out 315 on the bench. I got buried under 275. And my third memory is I sat down and 3 seniors ran over and just ripped into me like a monkey on a cupcake because I sat down on the Husker platform. I didn't know what it was. The names of everybody who had tested well enough, which was not a large list based on their weight, their 10, their 40 time and all that, accumulated enough points and got their names on there for eternity. That's how much that you don't sit on that thing. I had the lifelong, well, from that point on, the lifelong goal of from that instant going forward of getting on there. Callahan got rid of that 2 years later. I was within I was like so close to getting on there as a redshirt freshman. My 10-yard dash, I was less than 1/10 of a second off. Everything else was there. And I had 3 years to get there. It was gone. They already got rid of the Husker platform. That's not talked about. To be clear, again, I love Corey Campbell. I think he does a great job. I think we have stepped it up in the weight room from the previous weight staff, which I'll be honest, I thought was not good at all. He knows I don't think that, and he doesn't like me very much, and I don't care. Because he didn't do a good job. We had injuries. We got pushed around. The second half belonged to every other team that we played. It is what it is. Corey does a great job. You can see the difference in the guys. You can see the difference in the play. Hopefully we continue to grow and develop. I'm just curious why this thing isn't, I don't want to say thing, why the trophy's not handed out anymore. I'd be curious to learn more. All right, let me know your thoughts and comments. What's that number? And then we will finally go to break, Jake.
402-464-5685.
Jake's going to have a heart attack. We better go to break. Go Big Red, and we will be back shortly.
Buckle up and hang on. This is going to be a good one.
The fans of Kansas Speedway know how to have a good time. One that celebrates fantastic finishes.
Crash together. So close.
And family-friendly facilities. Trading paint.
We got feuding.
And tailgating tradition. Burnouts. Beer. And barbecue. Oh, it'll for sure be a good time. And you are all invited. NASCAR weekend at Kansas Speedway, May 9th through the 11th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
At Allo, we go beyond internet, bringing you faster speeds backed by an all-fiber network. We go beyond TV and phone service, delivering reliable, crystal clear connections. We go beyond customer service with local teammates and no robots for a hassle-free experience. We go beyond value, offering transparent prices with no contracts, hidden fees, or data caps. We even go beyond our office doors by working, hiring, volunteering, and living in the communities we serve. Go beyond fiber. Sign up today at allofiber.com.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage door sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, a realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call today at 402-590-5800. Doors Plus. Garage doors and more.
You know the saying, April showers bring May flowers. Well, it's true for heart health, too. Sprinkling in a few small changes can make a big impact on your heart health. Try adding a vegetable to your dinner or no salt seasoning. Looking for support in making these changes? Join a workshop to learn more about a healthy lifestyle. Search Chronic Disease Nebraska for more details. Paid for by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown's Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $15 off any regular priced athletic shoes with respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, and On Running. And don't forget, Brown's carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start your spring off right at Brown's Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Hour 2, starting 17 minutes late, which is pretty much on par for our normal schedule here of the Adam Carriker Show, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we got some surprise players, some walk-ons, some offensive linemen to chat about. Butler is doing his press conference, I believe, right now, unless they're, a little bit late and haven't started, which has been part of the course the past couple of weeks. Again, I think they're doing this little thing called practice and trying to get better. So we'll see how that unfolds. All right. Your friendly daily reminder, easy for me to say, the Carriker Chronicles football camp is this summer, July 9th, here in good old Lincoln, Nebraska, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the LYF Lincoln Youth Football Fields. All right, Eric Crouch will be there, Amon Green, Zach Weger, myself. I will announce the final coach on Thursday. Boys and girls, K through 8th grade. Autographs, T-shirts are included. All right. If you want your youngster to just learn the basics and fundamentals, there is, outside of a pure love of the game, there is nothing more important. If you want to take your game to the next level, these are the guys to chat with. All right. So I hope the kids have a blast. I hope they learn a lot, have a unique once-in-a-lifetime experience. If you'd like to learn more, go to carrikerchronicles.com. If you'd like to register, go to carrikerchronicles.com. You can sign up your kid, your youngster, your team, your group, your kid's group of friends if you'd like. Hopefully it'll be something they remember for a very, very long time. That's the inaugural Carriker Chronicles football camp. Learn more at carrikerchronicles.com. All right. Back to Matt Rules. I thought it was a really good press conference. Okay. Most of there's interesting stuff to take from it. I thought there was a good amount to take from this particular press conference the other day. Again, John Butler and a couple of players are doing a press conference as we speak right now. Now, he told everybody in December on the team, all right, trying to get down to 105. They're around, I forget what the exact number was, 150 players, something like that. Okay, he told everybody in December what the right thing he thought would be to tell them. Basically, we get to 105. He was just honest with them. You're probably not going to be a part of it. Or, if it's a particular player, you have a really good chance to be a part of the 105. And then he would be frankly honest with some. You're going to be competing to be on the 105. He said a lot of the guys said that they are Huskers and they are staying until they are told to leave. All right, let's see. The next topic, basically he was just upfront. He was honest with guys. He was clear with expectations. Rule did say he wants the NCAA to give some sort of relief to the players, let go to the due to the 105 rule, which I think is fair. I haven't heard anything of the like, and it probably won't happen. But Rule believes it should happen, and it seems fair to me. As we're sorting through this, I was going to call it the new era of college football. We'll just also call it insanity. I think that's something that would be fair, but doesn't seem likely. All right, if the settlement does not come out by Wednesday, the House settlement on the revenue sharing, etc., they will probably have to let guys know where they stand in the 105 very, very soon. All right, in the live practice, the offense had a lot of procedural penalties that they had on Saturday, 30-minute scrimmage. Early on in the scrimmage, but they regrouped and fixed the issues. You expect a lot of false starts, like the O-line, especially with a lot of new linemen, a lot of guys out, guys stepping up, guys trying to earn play time. They're not going to be a cohesive unit just yet, so it's not shocking to hear that maybe there were some procedural units or penalties or false starts. It's fairly common, especially early on in the spring, but they did tighten it up as it went along throughout the scrimmage. You said we look like a real physical team. That's what I want to hear. I want to be physical. I want to compete. Obviously, I want to win games. But right now, if you got a team that's physical, they're hitting people in the mouth and they're competing, that's what you can ask for right now. Because that's going to breed so many things. It's going to breed toughness. It's going to bring leadership. It's going to bring guys together. It's going to make guys better. It's going to create depth. It's going to help guys develop. Of Elijah Pritchett, who Jake and I both agree, probably the single most important transfer portal player we brought in. Has your mind changed on that?
I wouldn't say so. I think partially because of need, though. I'm interested. I looked at a list of a top 150 players in college football. One Husker made the list, and it wasn't Elijah Pritchett. It wasn't Dylan Raiola. So it was Dane Key, who was another transfer portal addition.
Interesting. I'm not surprised Dane made it. I think for me, when I look at the wide receiver room, even with Harley Gilmore gone, I'm like, it gets a little bit thinner with Gilmore gone, but I'm like, we've got guys there. You look at the offensive tackle spot, that's one of the question marks all offseason. We're going to get to some surprise guys at that offensive tackle spot here in a sec. All right. Elijah Pritchett still has a lot of work to do, but has all the talent in the world. By the way, everything we've been saying all offseason. Pritchett is eager and willing to learn. Been a great kid and is doing his work, getting his work done in the classroom. All right, surprise player alert. Tyler Canuck, number 75, doing great at right tackle. Heard him talked about 2 different times now in press conferences. Really coming on strong, and I quote, no better representative of our team or culture, end quote. So when you think about a guy like Tyler, a guy who's not been talked about a lot, guys kind of flown under the radar. And Jake and I have talked about several times this offseason, we need some guys to step up at that offensive tackle spot. And I've said every spring, there's guys who step up, guys who develop, guys who surprise. And we need somebody to do that at the offensive tackle spot. When you hear about and we're going to mention another guy here in a second, Tyler Canuck, doing one of those things and looking like he may be one of those guys and a guy who's in contention for play time, starting position, adding depth, helping make us better. What's your reaction there, Jake? Because I was like, yes, this is the stuff we need to hear. Not we have one of the best D-lines in the country. We haven't even been in pads yet. Yeah, like that stuff to me is like great, but I'm like, gigantic grain of salt put in the water because I got to take it with a gigantic grain of salt. This is the stuff that gets me excited.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because that's like you said, depth and just more opportunities for these guys at tackle is going to be important, whether it be injuries, which we've had an injury-riddled offensive line these last couple of years, or just opportunity to play up. It's good news because when he transferred in from Utah, I was kind of thinking, okay, and it was kind of stated he's going to still need some development before you can, he's going to make a big impact. So I was just kind of tracking it, trying to see when this was going to happen, and hopefully at some point it would. And that's what happens with a lot of young players. But he wasn't in the too deep for the bowl game, and he was just a scholarship name that, again, I thought at some point would make that move. So if it wasn't last year, now at least making the move at this point.
Dude, this is a small world. So I've not seen Tyler without the helmet on. I just looked him up online. Okay, 6'6", 325, like you said, transfer from Utah, junior, knew all that. He goes to my church.
Oh, okay.
He said hi to me like 3 times.
Oh, okay.
This is crazy. This is part of the reason linemen aren't known, because you got the helmets on. You rarely see them without the helmet. You don't know them as well. And I cover the freaking team, and I pride myself on knowing. This guy's like said hi to me, walked right by me like 3 different times. He's huge.
I was going to say he's 6'6", 325.
Like he sticks out in the crowd.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he must have played at Nebraska at some point in time. But I'm like, I've got my 6 kids. It's Sunday morning. I'm like, I gotta go visit with this guy just a little bit more. This dude is big. He's large, and he's surprising people in a very positive manner. All right. Rule brought up Grant Seagren. Rule says that as soon as Grant realizes he is a scholarship player, he is going to be something else. Rule says he weighs 315 and is an elite student. Has all the talent to be a starter, and I quote, big-time player, end quote. So what if? First of all, I have a soft spot for walk-ons. Okay? So I love this. Nebraska, walk-ons, Husker power, the weight room, developing guys. This is what we've been known for a long time, and it hasn't been the same. Which is part of the reason we haven't had the same amount of wins. I love stuff like this. What if, Jake? I don't care who it is. I'll tell you right now, TJ Lateef comes in and he's playing better than Dylan. TJ should start. Now, do I expect that to happen? I do not. What if Brett Seagren and Tyler Canuck, the odds are probably pretty much against this because of things that have already, I don't want to say predetermined, but preconceived notions. Like some guys are going to get more benefit of the doubt. Elijah Pritchett's probably going to get more benefit of the doubt. Gunnar Gatula as well. But what if our starting tackles, because they earn it, come game 1, Kansas City, Cincinnati, or Grant Seagren and Tyler Canuck?
I mean, it would be exciting as far as the development. Like you said, there'd be a lot of NIL questions around Elijah Pritchett if he doesn't start game one. But so that would be my one thing. They better show out if they did start over him.
Yeah, you better. You also got to start the best players. I love this. I love the under the radar guys. I felt like I was one when I came here. Before I came here and anybody gave two craps to this side of a monkey's rear end about me, I loved this growing up. That's what Nebraska was to me. It's one of the reasons I wanted to come play here. Let the best player win the job. Obviously, the expectation is Pritchett, Gattuller are going to be main cogs in this O-line. I just get excited by stuff like this. Is there anything from the text line real quick up to this point in the show?
There's still people hanging on to that Colorado thing.
You got my attention. What'd they say?
Cubsker said neither of them did anything at Colorado. How many bowl wins do they have? I know they didn't get into the top 15.
Okay, Hunter won a Heisman. Easy now. Neither one of them?
Well, he said, I guess I can see Hunter since Deion bought him the Heisman, but I think it's ridiculous.
Wow. Golly. All right, what's next?
There are Ashton Jetty fans out there still a little upset about it that way.
Okay.
And also, Bones says this is absolutely a name reward for Colorado. Cordell Stewart should have his jersey retired way before Sanders. Just because of his name, he did nothing to deserve having a jersey retired. Ridiculous.
All right. I'm not going to. Jake's giving me the break. We'll go to break. We got more when we come back. I don't have a whole lot to argue. I don't know that you could say he did nothing. Like, he did win a major award. It's not like he did nothing. I still don't think it should be happening outside of Travis Hunter, but I do try to be fair as much as I can. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got more to talk about when we come back. I think Jake's going to run out of patience with me if I keep going over on these segments. All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
Pre-order your Hog Wild slow smoked Easter ham today. Hog Wild selects the highest quality whole ham and slow smokes them until they're tender and delicious. Our 100% boneless ham is approximately 4 pounds and $50. Pre-order online at GoHogWild.com. Quantities are limited. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Hey, I like your new car.
Thanks.
Could you stop at this coffee shop? I need a cup of joe.
Press that little red button.
Hey, an entire coffee machine just came out of your dashboard.
Yep.
More things should be built in, like the multiplier in Mega Millions from your Nebraska Lottery. It's one of the new enhancements to the game, along with bigger jackpots and better odds.
Oh, that coffee is a little strong.
Press the blue button.
What's that?
Grain dispenser.
$5 Mega Millions top prize odds, 1 in 290 million.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more. Authentic Mexican food is not always easy to find, but you can find it in Lincoln at Tacos Los Hermanos. Their birria tacos are worth the drive from anywhere in town, but their chicken, chorizo, al pastor, and asada tacos are also worth the trip. You can also try any of those meats in a burrito or quesadilla. You won't find a better toppings bar in the area or better dessert options. If you can't get there, don't worry, they do deliver as well. Stop by Tacos Los Hermanos for lunch or dinner today at 70th and Havelock Streets in Lincoln.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Runners, are you ready? The 48th Annual Lincoln Marathon takes over the streets on Sunday, May 4th. Whether you're chasing a personal best, conquering your first race, or just in it for the bragging rights, this race is for you. Sign up for the full or half marathon today at lincolnmarathon.org, but don't wait. Spots are filling fast. Join thousands of runners or line up along the course to cheer them on and make race day unforgettable. The Lincoln Marathon and Half Marathon. Your finish line is waiting. Register now at lincolnmarathon.org.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197. Tailored Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you the best they can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan for your yard. Tailored Landscapes is on the brink of spring cleanups for all their existing customers, and they have limited spots available. They trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give Tailored Landscapes a call at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of their designers and stop by the Tailored Life store in Bennett.
Spring is right around the corner, and now's the time to get your John Deere mower prepared for the grass to turn green. To get you ready, Acres reduced the price of its John Deere mower blades, filters, belts, and home maintenance kits by 15%. Gator UTV maintenance parts are also 15% off. Regular maintenance will keep your John Deere equipment going for years. Warmer weather is coming soon, so don't delay. Offer expires May 31st, 2025. Visit your local Acres for details or go to acres.com to start shopping today.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, full disclosure, ladies and gentlemen, I had no intention of really discussing the James Williams thing today, and I really don't want to. But Husker History on X found a press conference from Casey Thompson. It's like less than 90 seconds. And he's like, this is how you handle this. So we're going to play that clip, spend maybe 20 seconds on it, and then move on and be done. I just thought the clip was a perfect example of how this should be handled. And then we'll move on. Go ahead and roll that Casey Thompson clip there, Jake.
One thing that I wanted to say, just to inform you guys, I was asked a question last week by one of you about how does the skill depth here compare to at Texas. But I just thought I'm very close with those guys over at Texas, and I just want to say I wish them best of luck this season. And I'm still close to a lot of the players, and actually I got a lot of texts and calls from the players after the game last week. They were watching DeMarvion Overshawn, their starting Mike linebacker over there. I still keep in touch with Bijan Robinson. Roshan Johnson's their running back over there, team captain, a really good player. And but I just want to say I respect them. But moving forward from here on out, I don't want to really be asked questions about Texas, because I'm trying to focus on Nebraska and moving forward with this team. And I'm always trying to encourage the players and stuff that we have here. But I was asked a question last week about how does the skill set depth compare here at Texas? And I said we have more depth, and a lot of the Texas fans and media, of course, took it to say Casey Thompson said that the skill set depth at Texas wasn't very good, and I never said anything like that. So I don't want to stir the pot about anything, and I'm not trying to go down that path. But like I said, I wish them the best of luck. I have a lot of respect for Coach Sark and that team. They've always had talent. Talent's never been an issue. They have a really good team, really good coach. Bijan Robinson is one of the best athletes and running backs I've ever been around. Xavier Worthy's one of the best route runners. Those guys deserve everything that's going their way. But moving forward, I just want to talk about Nebraska football, the games that we have at hand and the issues that we have here. So nothing but respect for those guys. So I appreciate you guys, and thank you.
All right, Jake, what do you think? Is that how it should be done?
Yes. Casey Thompson was very good in front of the mic. I always credit him for that. He came in for a few interviews too, and you just could tell, how much effort he kind of put into bettering his game. But again, that was part of it. definitely, I would think at some point Casey Thompson will be a coach. So, it might be one end of the spectrum to the other. But yeah, that's exactly how you address it. But even listening closer to that story, you'll hear he made the mistake the previous week of doing the same and riling up the Texas fan base. So, while I think that example is a good example, if we would have taken the example of him criticizing Texas, or not even criticizing Texas, just saying something regarding Texas, and then the same sort of thing happened with the media storm down there. So that's why I say I think it hopefully will be a learning opportunity for James.
So he didn't do it twice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's right.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. All right, let's move on. All right, Matt Rule on the portal. He opens next week. Is that what you said? This week?
Opens tomorrow.
Tomorrow. So it is this week. All right. On the portal, everybody has the right decision has to make the right decision that's best for them, wants them to make the decision on the right information. Don't come back and say they told me this, but offered me that. Everyone is always going to say they have something that is better. We kind of talked about this yesterday. Played the Rule actual clip. All right, Rule says if you aren't happy here, he wants you to leave and find what's best for you. Don't just leave because you can make a couple more bucks. All right, instead he isn't chasing anyone unless they will be a difference maker. We talked a lot about this yesterday. We played the 3-minute Rule clip of his advice to guys entering the portal, and they seem like they're not uber concerned about this. There may be a couple guys that come and go, whatever the case may be. I think they've got their core players, so to speak, locked in, locked down, and I think they feel pretty good about things. All right, final thought. I thought this was interesting. Rule said they can start 6 different guys at cornerback, 4 to 5 guys at safety right now. Depth in the secondary is really, really strong. I love that. That's music to my ears. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't it one of the linebackers coaches that said our pass defense is still a work in progress?
I think he was talking about his linebackers, but yeah.
Is this a little bit? He's just specifically talking DB and safety, not incorporating the whole pass defense, which would be the back 7, including the linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I didn't want conflicting information. So he feels good about the secondary. And I'll tell people right now with the linebackers, talent, athleticism, galore, youth as well. There's going to be a learning curve there. They're going to go hand in hand. They're going to be exciting to watch. They're going to be frustrating to watch as they learn and grow as the year develops. By the end of the year, man, that linebacker core, after they've had a year's worth of additional growth and development over the course of the next few months to year, they're going to be so fun to watch. That second level of the defense has got so much ability. And then you factor in, Dawson McCullough, Williams and Worry, Marquez Watson-Trent, along with Shavers and McGahee, etc. It's going to be fun to watch. Part of that learning curve may be the pass defense continuing to develop as a whole, but there are so many guys in that secondary that have so much experience. So when he says, hey, we can start 6 different guys at cornerback, 4 to 5 guys at safety right now. Depth in the secondary is really, really strong. I believe him. Now, do you feel better about our pass defense over what we've seen, what we've heard, what we've been told to this point in the offseason, Jake?
It's interesting because those quotes, you can always go both ways with it, right? If you've got 6 guys that can start, why don't you have 2 guys that are separating to be the starter, right? So
that's a fair point.
So I think, in with the personnel that we know, you have solid players like in Hartzog and Singleton and Sierra Wright. I mean, we've seen a lot of these play. Buford, we've seen a lot of these guys play. So it was already feeling good. So I guess knowing their level and that they've already been at that starting level, maybe struggled a little bit last year, but whatever the case may be, to say that depth is getting better behind them, I think just kind of, again, using that information that we already have, that we already know 4 of the 5 guys that he's talking about, and they can play, that makes you feel better about maybe hoping there wouldn't be, or maybe diving deep into that and saying, well, there's no separation, because there are guys that can play there. If we can have guys that can ride up, if you have 6 guys that can play at Sierra Wright's level, man, Nebraska's going to have a really good cornerback room.
Dang, I felt better. And then you made a really good point, Dagger. Like, do we have really good players, or do we just have a bunch of pretty good players? Depth is phenomenal, but you've only got so many DVs on the field at once. And are those guys really good, or are they just pretty good? Gosh dang it, Jake. I was starting to feel better. I had all these happy things to say. You make so many good points. A lot of times I call them daggers, but they're daggers because they're the truth. So I do appreciate that part of it. When it comes to the secondary, it's kind of still this wait and see. There is a bunch of guys with experience, a bunch of guys who can play a bunch of positions and do a bunch of different things, but how good are you going to be when it comes to your starting back seven? And specifically, your four guys in the secondary specifically. And I'm still curious to see, can we get after the quarterback? Now, the 3-3-5 or the multiple defense that we're going to run with 3 or 4 guys with their hand down the line of scrimmage from time to time, depending on whatever defense is called, that defense is built to trick, catch people off guard, blitz, get you from different angles. But there's a difference between that and doing that when you want to and having to. Are we going to be able to get after the quarterback without having to constantly bring the house? That's my big question mark. And that's going to impact the pass defense as much as anything. We have not been able to just put our hand in the dirt and get after the quarterback with 4 guys, regardless of who they are and where they're coming from, for a long time. I will say this. One of the things I'm most proud of, I don't talk about it very often. 2005, we led the nation in sacks as a defense. 50 sacks, led the nation. When I think back on that defense, I mean, we blitzed, but it wasn't a ton. There was guys who could put their hand in the dirt and get after the quarterback. And that's something that I always took a lot of pride in. Can we do that now? Can we be better at doing that? Get closer to being good at doing that than we've been in a while. All right, when we come back, we've got one final clip to play. I have all the notes. All right, Andy Jurassic sent me all the notes. He's the guy that watches the press conferences, helps me with notes as well for John Butler, the players. We're going to save them for Thursday. Okay. James Pritch has a day-by-day podcast. It's on my website. It's exclusively on CarrikerChronicles.com. He does a really good job, and it's growing quickly. There's a clip we have, and I thought it was very intriguing. Are there some Nebraska fans that actually root for Husker sports to fail? And I was like, wow, this is very intriguing because I know that most people root for Nebraska sports to succeed, but is there a small group out there that just want chaos and they thrive in it? We're going to play that clip, and Jake and I shall discuss when we come back.
Join Nebraska softball for another action-packed weekend on April 18th and 19th as they face Indiana at Bowlin Stadium. The top 25 ranked Huskers are hot and ready to show off their dominance in the Big Ten during this 2-game series. Plus, Saturday is Kids Day. There will be family activities throughout the game and an egg hunt with the team after the final out. You won't want to miss this weekend at the ballpark, April 18th and 19th. For event and ticket information, head to huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Hey volleybalfans, this is Laura Dijkema, national player of the Netherlands and now the setter on Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering for us in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action. Go Big Green!
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl Jordan with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Allow me to get a bit sappy. For women, jewelry isn't just a gift. It's a timeless symbol of love and appreciation. You have to get this right. No fleeting trends or gadgets will make the impact. Every time she wears it, every time she gets a compliment, you win. Trust me, guys. You'll get your money worth. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes! Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Get ready for spring by joining an evidence-based program to improve your health and well-being. These programs use proven strategies to help you make lasting changes, whether it's boosting nutrition, increasing activity, managing stress, or enhancing wellness. Invest in yourself today and feel your best this spring and beyond. Paid for by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call today at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Authentic Mexican food is not always easy to find, but you can find it in Lincoln at Tacos Los Hermanos. Their birria tacos are worth the drive from anywhere in town, but their chicken, chorizo, al pastor, and asada tacos are also worth the trip. You can also try any of those meats in a burrito or quesadilla. You won't find a better toppings bar in the area or better dessert options. If you can't get there, don't worry, they do deliver as well. Stop by Tacos Los Hermanos for lunch or dinner today at 70th and Havelock Streets in Lincoln.
Outside is where winter adventure unfolds. On frozen lakes, icy landscapes, and snow-covered slopes, feeling the cold air rush by as you race downhill. The freedom of gliding with ease and the warmth of being together. From epic sled rides to the fun of ice fishing, it's all right here beneath Nebraska skies. Start your winter adventure at yournebraskaparks.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Associations and this station.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
Hey, bestie! Whoa, how'd you snag that awesome set of wheels? I'm in the market for a new car, too. My friends at Members Own Credit Union. You're always in the driver's seat when it comes to your finances at Members Own. Always in the driver's seat, huh? Yep. They set you up with a loan that makes sense for your budget with great rates and top-notch customer service to boot. Looks like we're going to need to make a pit stop. Let's go. I'll drive. Hit the road to financial success and explore auto loan options with your best financial friend, Members Own Credit Union. For details, go to membersowncu.org/drive. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Your new Total Wine in Lincoln has the largest selection of wines, spirits, and beers, plus totally low prices and friendly service from our helpful guides. With over 8,000 wines, 4,500 spirits, and 2,500 beers, you're sure to find your favorites and something new. You can even order delivery, in-store, or curbside pickup. Find what you love what you find, only at Total Wine & More. Now open in Lincoln next to Gateway Mall.
Drink responsibly, B21.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Chaos, insanity, anarchy. No, it's not a Purge movie. It's college football and Nebraska sports. Do some people root for these things more than they root for the Huskers to win? All right. Jake, go ahead and roll that clip.
Legitimate question I have to ask. Is there a part of us that genuinely do not want Husker athletics to succeed? Like, do you think there's especially a segment of the fan base, they are negative about everything and nothing can be good enough?
Yeah.
And it's like they want the world to go to hell in a handbasket just so that they have something to complain about. Somebody like that feels like I have some control and power because I can complain.
Yeah.
And tell everybody how things ought to be. I legitimately think there's a segment that does not want Nebraska basketball to succeed.
Things get so bad that it almost you can comfort yourself by just, this is terrible, fire everybody. I wonder who our next coach is going to be. I wonder, and that gets a little addicting because
it does.
That's more exciting than watching them just suck.
All right, Jake. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think that's probably not all the way unique to Nebraska. I think every fan base is going to have a portion of folks that are going to. I mean, that's just kind of the personality is to complain and maybe cheer against. And there is, especially in broadcasting or when you give your opinions, there's a thought sometimes you want to be right more so than you want them to succeed. Well, I can tell you collectively, I would think as the media, they would like Nebraska to succeed. I mean, better for Nebraska is usually better for any media partner. So, that I would go with that there. But I mean, I get what they're saying. I think part of that too is just, again, whether you're in the media or not, or you're just telling your friend, you want to be right first. So if you if you feel like something is not working for a coach and you want to move on, you want to say, hey, I said this 2 years before they fired the guy. They should have done this way ahead of time. So, I mean, I get that. While at the same time, I would say there are those people, but I also Nebraska's never won a tournament game. Nebraska football has been their first bowl game since 2016. So these things inherently are going to kind of bring on negative conversations about not quite reaching that level. But again, even if you go back to Nebraska's dominant days, their top 5, you lose one game in the reason why they lost that game or the play or the player. I mean, that stuff's always going to be, I mean, the negativity or whatever needs to be changed to get you to the top as a champion. That's always going to be discussed one way or the other.
Yeah, reactions are always going to be there. I don't know. Like when people are like, I appreciate people who send me stuff for content. They're like, oh, you must have a hard time, finding stuff to talk about all the time. And they'll send me stuff. And some people want to send me information. Some people want me to share things on air. They just flat out want it out there. I never have a hard time with content. To be clear, if you got interesting stuff and you've been sending it to me, continue to send it to me. I appreciate it. But like, there's always going to be enough stuff to talk about. Interesting, genuinely interesting stuff to talk about. It's the loaded show because I can't get it all in 2 hours because there's so many things from college football to general sports to Husker sports to football to just, I mean, we talked, what was it? What did I joke about? Bots in the sky last fall because things were falling out of the sky or whatever. You remember?
I do remember
what
that,
was that? There was like, whatever that was. I don't even remember. It was so long ago. And you got your concerned look in your eye like, all right, where's Adam going with this? Do I got to go to break and cut him off? Because I remember that day. You didn't know where I was going, but that was like October. But there's always stuff to talk about. It's interesting because Matt Rule said at one of his press conferences, I think in December, there are some folks, and he was specifically talking about some content creators who root for anarchy and chaos because they make money off of it. He said that at a press conference. He's not wrong. There are some folks out there like that. Not the majority. Not the majority. I would rather be talking about, oh man, we're 10-0. How are we going to beat, Wisconsin and Iowa to end the year to try to go undefeated? I'd much rather be talking about that than how do we get back to another bowl game? Or man, we're 4-8. What's going on? Who's going to be our next coach? I don't want to talk about that stuff. I don't want to talk about it to begin with. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I want to talk about how we're going to win this game. Oh man, we lost to the number 1 team in the country by going for 2 at the end of the game. Was that a good decision? Yes, real men go for 2. Man, I am hearkening back like 40 years on that one. But still, to me, one of the greatest calls and took some of the most gigantic grapefruits I've ever seen in the history of college football. Like, I want to discuss stuff like that. Okay? For me, I grew up a fan. My lifelong dream was to come play at Nebraska. My lifelong dream was not to play in the NFL. It wasn't. My lifelong dream was to come play at Nebraska. My entire week. My dad's the biggest Husker fan I've ever met in my entire life. What happened on Saturday afternoons dictated what I could get away with or not get away with Sunday through Friday. My entire week growing up revolved around what happened on Saturday afternoons. That will never leave me. I had offers from Northwest schools and schools closer to me, et cetera, yet I chose to go halfway across the country because that's where my dream was. That was the dream school. Now, was I born in Hastings? Do I have family throughout the state that I did not know growing up because I grew up on the West Coast? Correct. That will never leave me. I am a proud alum for life. That will never leave me. I've had some unique experiences. We had a bad loss my sophomore year, redshirt freshman year. It was a really bad loss. The next day, I was actually, much to my shock, I was called to come talk to the media. This is back when I would never speak. And I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom. Then I'm in there in the stall doing the thing. And some reporters come in. And to be clear, nothing but love for guys who do a good job covering sports, the team in general. But the one dude had spent a lot of time saying a lot of positive things. And then I heard him in the bathroom being so happy. He's like, oh, this loss gives us great stuff to talk about. I'm so excited about this. Now we can really, really dig in and point out certain things. And, oh, this is just great. I walked out of there. He didn't know I was in there, and I've never looked at that guy the same again. This is actually the first time I've ever talked about it. I've never looked at that guy the same again. I see him, and I know who he is, and he has no idea He may not even remember that. There are people like that. To be clear, in the media, most people just want to cover the team. They want to do a good job. They want to give accurate reporting. And to be clear, high tide raises all ships. The more wins we have, the more interest there is, the more people are going to want to tune into things. Okay, Husker Hounds, owned by Scott Strunk, one of the biggest Husker fans I've ever met in my entire life. When Nebraska was losing 3 or 4 years ago, he used to have 2 stores open in Omaha. He had to shut one down. Now, I do believe he's opened it back up since. If there's someone out there who's like, oh, man, I get a bunch more of this or a bunch more clicks or attention when Nebraska's struggling or there's chaos or anarchy, first of all, you're not a true Husker fan. Second of all, it's an embarrassment. Third of all, that's very short-sighted because in the long term, people are going to tune out. There's so many reasons I want Nebraska to win. And if you look at it from a purely business standpoint, more people tune in when they're winning. From a passion standpoint, it's been ever since I was a kid that I have rooted for this team, and my week has revolved around this team. Now I chose to make my job about this team after I played for this team, and we moved back to Lincoln. There are people like this that absolutely exist. They are in the minority. Their priorities are not in the right spot. It can be entertaining, I guess, for a time, but then it's like, no. I would much rather discuss, hey, we're like 15th in the country. How do we get into the top 12 to become a college football playoff team? Rather than we're 4-8, who's going to be our next coach? Does that make sense? Am I making sense here?
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, I do think there are there are certain people that cover the team that I think we've seen that over the years. But again, I do think that's the minority. I don't think that's necessarily a fan base. Like you said, if I don't necessarily see you as a fan if you're rooting against your team. That's kind of the opposite. The definition of being a fan is kind of the opposite of that. Again, I think you can sometimes maybe I've been in a position where it's like they might need to lose this one for them to move on, and I think that's the best thing for the program. And that's a very weird position to be in. But I don't.
As far as retaining a coach or getting
a
new. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, that makes sense.
So I mean, there are weird positions sometimes to be as a fan, but again, there's and then now on Twitter, there's certain people that they can get content, like you said, just by going after it. But again, like you said as well, the content will be there, especially with more wins. There's more interest, national interest. So in the long run, it's better for the team to do better.
Yeah, you notice how after we beat Colorado, all of these national shows were talking about us, then everyone just kind of disappeared. To be clear, most people who cover the team do a phenomenal job. There's always going to be some small percentage of fans who want to root against the team for anarchy and things to talk about. Like you said, I want to be right. But the majority of fans are not that way. The majority of people who cover the team do a phenomenal job. Again, it's high tide raises all ships. I've been doing this going on 11 years. I finally got to talk about a winning season. I have been dying to talk about an 8, 9, 10 championship contending type season for so long. If that day comes, when that day comes, I might be the happiest man walking around God's green earth. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm off tomorrow. I don't know if you are. Actually, I'll be doing a bunch of other stuff. I just won't be here. But Jake will be working because he doesn't take days off like I do.
That's right.
See you Thursday. Go Big Red Nose. Remember to throw the bone.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.